Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match is going to be between Kiwikaki and TLO. We have Kiwikaki starting bottom right hand corner as the blue protoss. Upper right hand corner we have Liquid TLO as the red Zerg. And I apologize if there's frame rate issues on this. My secondary SSD hard drive is currently full with Fallout 3 stuff. I've actually got a big backlog of commentary things I want to do. So there's this. I want to do a little bit more Magicka stuff. Fallout 3 stuff is obviously continuous on the plot. My next priority is Fog of War, game 1 through 3. You can see the live cast of that on my Justin TV thing if you don't want to wait for it, which was really fun. We had LZ Gamer, who didn't ask me anything on the Reddit community, which you have to go to the backlogs to see that now actually. He went up against Zelnick and it was really fun, really entertaining. Kind of a odd map, definitely more Terran favored, but good matches nevertheless. Pile on initially here from Kiwikaki. Otherwise, if you go to Twitter, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Rob Clotworthy, that is the voice of Jim Raynor. And for whatever reason, he doesn't have a huge following on Twitter like he should, so go there. In fact, pause this right now. Twitter, Rob Clotworthy, exactly how it sounds. Boost up his viewer count. Trying to think of anything else I want to announce. If you're wondering when I'm live streaming, I actually created a Steam account so you can, or a Steam group I should say, so you can keep up with it. That's SE2LS for live stream. I also will try to announce when other stuff is happening. TLO getting Extractor first, and trying to I guess shout out to Rex and also the Reddit community, Feargorm, Cnome, all those guys because they're awesome. I just feel like giving a shout out to them. Anyway, looks like Kiwikaki chrono boosting his main Nexus. He's really a extremely creative protoss, if not the most creative protoss that I know of. So, and it's going to be really fun because he's going up against TLO, who plays random and is really a fan favorite because he too is extremely creative. It looks like he opened up Extractor first and has gone into a spawning pool. Bring up the production tab. And just pumping harvesters thus far. It looks like just about even as would be expected early match. Second Overlord heading to the bottom right hand corner, but it looks like there's a drone to push to the front and do some scouting ahead of time. And just using that chrono boost on that Nexus to get out as many probes as possible. But knowing Kiwikaki, I'm sure he has something that's coming up down the line. I almost never see him play standard. He already has that probe hanging out the natural expansion to try to block any sort of quick expansion to follow this up, but I believe, yeah, it looks like TLO is opening up with 4 Zerglings and a Queen, so he should be able to clear that natural expansion fairly easily, although we'll see if Kiwikaki decides to invest 800 minerals and place a pylon to just be a little bit more annoying. Initial Stalker created on that gateway, and it looks like it is not being chrono boost out, so no Zealot to start, very interestingly. Might be of note. And additionally, what these Zerglings are going to provide, even in the early games, are going to provide a lot of that information denial, particularly with that speed. And the Stalker probably won't be the best unit, actually, to engage them early. And TLO still has this drone out. And between these drones and these Zerglings, they might be able to give that Stalker a decent fight. And it looks like they are, in fact, running up and engaging. 6 Zerglings here, in fact, and there's going to be speed in not too long. It looks like he's trying to micro already. And TLO just deciding to engage, yeah. And it looks like several Zerglings going to attack that pylon here in the meantime. Probes coming off the line to try to provide some additional defense, and this is where Zealot might have been more helpful. And another Stalker being produced. Stalker is not going to do very well against increased drone count. It looks like another probe getting taken out, and the Stalker still trying to micro as best it can. I don't know. Yeah, TLO is going to be able to take out that pylon to the north, which Kiwikaki might go into the red, and he's going to have some difficulty. Actually, supply block now. He's going to have some difficulty getting some additional troops out, but TLO, feeling like he slowed Kiwikaki down enough, is going to regroup, wait for speed, has 6 Zerglings still at the corner. It feels like 2 Stalker is not as good against the 2 Zerglings perhaps, although he just wants to get more piled up here and probably going for another attack, and Kiwikaki's going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this. And oh man, moving in, it looks like the Stalker's amidst the probes to provide some additional buffer defense, so they're just going to sit on the corner and do what damage they can. The Stalker's going to try to pick away at them from the corners. Gateway canceled, more Zerglings coming in, so TLO just persistent with this production. Looks like he's also taking a natural expansion, but a ton of Zerglings here in Kiwikaki's main. Kiwikaki still defiantly just chrono boosting probes rather than getting additional attack units out. Still hasn't managed to get a Zealot out. Okay, never mind. He's got the warp rate. He has a Zealot. He also has a Sentry to provide some additional buffer. That gateway being picked away a little bit. The Zergling's just dancing around this base, and this is amazing play from TLO because he's completely. Well, yes, he has denied some information, granted, but with this many Zerglings, you have to assume that there hasn't been as much gas harvester things like that. But I gotta say, Kiwikaki putting up a very stalwart defense. Second warp gate out, Zerglings going for a surround, just gonna pick away what they can, do a little bit of damage, and then pull back out. And I gotta say, Kiwikaki doing a fantastic job of staying on top of his economy, but this allows TLO to take an expansion. He's also grabbing a spine crawler because worried about the large amount of troops that are going to be able to push out momentarily against this, because those zealots do very, very well against the zerglings and the stalkers with support, and that buffer can do a lot of damage. And now going to push out, and the zerglings still going to have a lot of opportunity to dance around, but still with the speed they can do a lot of harassment here at the natural expansion and really slow down this base. So I like this choice of builds. Looks like he's running up to clear it now, and TLO does not want to engage the army head on. He wants to kind of run around and pick away at it. It looks like he's just going to back off altogether, which is going to allow Kiwikaki to take that additional nexus. Has some nice, and finally getting that pylon up that natural. But TLO in a very, very comfortable position. He's got the 2 spine crawlers. He can pump a lot of drones because he knows more or less, and he's choosing not to, actually going with 8 more zerglings as well as a roach warren, and actually still hasn't teched on a second gasp. So it looks like, I assume he's going to go for more of a macro oriented build, but maybe he's going to go for a bust because this is a lot of zerglings. But he still has these 2 spine crawlers to follow it up, and I almost wonder if he's going to use them, just lift off and creep all the way down here and try to take the gold base, and then also be in proximity and just be frustrating. The pile of zerglings, and I really mean a pile because that's a lot of zerglings, just hanging out the Xel'Naga watchtower in the meantime. Results here at the natural, and a forge from Kiwikaki, which is very, very, yeah, I think that's important. Get a cannon in the mineral lines to help protect against those speed zerglings that can dash back and forth. Also get weapon 1 to provide, but 5 roaches in production now for TLO, so he's going to have 5 roaches plus plenty of zerglings. The forge cannons will be absolutely vital, and he's also about halfway up to layer in the meantime at his main, so, and tacking on some additional gas. Also has this overlord that's going to suicide perhaps a little bit later and get some scouting information, but Kiwikaki now pressing forward is not going to give him opportunity to really do any additional damage or get these roaches fielded to provide some additional harass. This is a nice sized army. He's just going to peck away at the front, now take control. No, for a second there I thought he was going to sit and take control of the Xel'Naga watchtower, but it looks like he's actually going to back off to his main, still provide some additional defense because he's worried about this low ground. What he really needs to do is clear some of these creep tumors, doing so now, but he doesn't have an observer to kind of check the rest here. So now a large grouping of roaches, several zerglings, looks like Gillial reconstitution and a Hydralisk den as well to work against what looks like, I assume TLO feels like is going to be a more gateway-based army, checking that natural expansion, well I should say protected expansion, finding nothing there. But a Stargate and a robotics facility in the meantime for Kiwikaki right at the natural expansion, just showing the tech there. It's kind of a risky position for it. I guess he assumes there's going to be more of a dive towards the main, and continuing to warp some stalkers, and he needs to be very careful about what units he's choosing. Zealot engaging a little bit there out in the middle here. He needs to be very careful about the units he's choosing, and it looks like he's going to creep up this protected expansion. Because he, first of all, wants to slow it down. Second of all, wants to see when his opponent is going to take that groove spines. Also an upgrade, so and it looks like TLO thinking about, hey, I'll take this gold while you're just sitting out there and doing whatnot. And he's very comfortable on his roach count with the spine crawlers, with the roaches, with the Hydralisks coming out. I don't see any additional tech to deal against anything Hydralisk related. It looks like he's getting a Void Ray, but honestly, the Hydralisk should deal well against almost all of this. Robo, very, very quiet, very silent, and oh my goodness, a Fleet Beacon. This is very Kiwikaki style. Looks like he's getting a Fleet Beacon with a Void Ray, also upgrading weapon 1. Another Overlord kind of at the corner position here, just checking in case that gold expansion was out. And finally an Observer out there with Kiwikaki's army to try to stop that creep spread, or at least minimize it. But this is a really sizable army. A single roach just doing some scout with that speed along the corner. Gonna get taken out almost instantaneously, but it is gonna be able to scout a little bit of that Void Ray. And that Void Ray needs to be very careful with Hydralisks out in the field. As those Hydralisk numbers increase, that Void Ray is gonna get less and less effective, comparatively, almost exponentially, I would say. But we should have a mothership as soon as this Fleet Beacon finishes somewhere, I assume, because that's just Kiwikaki style. It is possible he's just gonna go for speed, but no, there is the mothership producing at the main to provide some of that cloaked support against this unit composition. The Hydralisks are there, so it is possible that if you see a lot of Hydralisks, and we are seeing a lot of Hydralisks being produced, if they do not get Vortex, they might be able to pick off that unit very quickly. Looks like there's already an Overseer for TLO, who's very quickly able to pick off that Observer, so nice play there. And currently, I feel like things, ooh, actually 60 Harvesters out. Things working out for TLO, though. He's got a large army. He's got map control. I feel like Kiwikaki's going to have trouble. Ooh, in this engagement running in. Zergling's going for the counterattack. They want to try to sneak in from behind, but the Zealot's actually in nice position now, trying to run up for a run by. And they are able to get past that Zealot, so not quite a blockade. And the Zergling's flooding in. A cannon there at the main. But at the least, the Zergling's going to be able to scout that fleet beacon, so that'll give something. And 2 Zealots warping in to provide some additional defense. So the Zergling's getting creamed out, but now also a continuation attack from TLO at the main, providing some nice distraction. The Void Rays in their Guardian Shield laid out this Hydralisk pounding away against a lot of these units. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of Zealots to really work away against, and the Stalkers doing very well behind those force fields, and it looks like that Void Ray also didn't get picked away early, so it did a ton of damage underneath. More Stalkers warping in to take care of these units. Kiwikaki missing a lot of the units that he really needs to combat this army. The Hydros do so much damage with that padding and in large numbers. Robotics Bay doesn't even have the Thermal Lance upgrade, and as soon as this robotics facility is taken out, really the key is Colossus or something to deal with these Hydralisks. The Hydralisks continuing to pump away. It looks like that Mothership is now out. Maybe if we can get, I don't even know what he can do with this, honestly. I think there's still an Overseer in the front position. It's going to be critical that Kiwikaki picks that Overseer off. Otherwise, that Mothership's going to be a little bit for naught. Looks like he is going to be able to pick off that Overseer in front position, which is really going to open up this defense for him. As the Mothership slowly moves out, it's going to provide cloak for both the probes, which are now actually going to be decent attack units, as well as the Stalkers. And cloak everything here on the front, which is providing the perfect amount of defense that he needs at the exact last second. Unfortunately, though, it's just a matter of time before we see another Overseer and perhaps a larger amount, but this does give Kiwikaki a ton of breathing room at the last second to get some troops out here, and he's still, I think, at a decent he still actually has the Harvester count lead. TLO expanding to take his gold, realizing that attack in fact failed. And now, gonna have to deal with a Mothership. But I gotta say, wow, I can't believe Kiwikaki defended that. Really nice defense with the Zerglings at the main. Perhaps if TLO had kept the Zerglings back with that main attack, we might have had a different story there. Now Probe's actually running out to scout, almost sacrificially. Well, definitely sacrificially. And that is a huge grouping of Hydralisks moving up again. It's gonna be critical. Oh, 2 Overseers now. Oh man, this could be devastating. But are we going to see, in fact, a Vortex? There's a Vortex to get rid of a lot of the Hydralisks, and it looks like TLO very wisely running the units in, but 2 Overseers were picked off, I believe. So it's going to be a minute before the Overseer Cocoon warps in. It looks like it's about halfway finished. Let's see if these Hydralisks spawn in before the Overseer's in position to provide some defense. It looks like it is going to hatch momentarily, but more Stalkers morphing in. The Zealots alongside the Colossus also coming into position. And TLO actually backing off that attack. I think he actually could penetrate here. Maybe he doesn't want to engage against these cannons. Kiwikaki very intelligently laying more cannons out to provide some additional defense. And keep in mind, all these Hydralisks that are being produced are in fact not drones. And so that is slowing TLO's economy down considerably, although it looks like he's doing fantastically. He's ahead in economy. Well, he's got potential economy here with that gold expansion. Really needs to saturate that with some drones, but he's ahead as far as just pure raw army count goes. About 30 supply ahead in that regard. He definitely has Kiwikaki somewhat on the defensive, but Kiwikaki, you can't count him out of this match. He's defended really, really well. He's got a Colossus out, which will provide some excellent defense against those Hydralisks. The question is going to be protecting that Colossus. More roaches filtered in because TLO realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm really going to need some more of those, actually transfusions, I believe, to the lower ground to provide them some additional health. And it looks like now now Kiwikaki opening up his additional base, also has Protoss ground army level 1, so has a sizable army, still needs more Colossi, is chrono boosting his way to it. I still feel like TLO is in a fantastic position, loading up for a huge drop. Wow. Burrow also upgrading as well as Tunneling Claws to make those, and also has that Overseer alongside. This could be it. Doom Drop moving into Kiwikaki's main. Looks very, very vulnerable. This is actually going to provide a little bit of a blockade, which is going to be difficult to deal against. Let's see if this army is going to be able to move back in position in time. And all sorts of roaches, Hydralisks, everything on the interior of the base. The Colossi on the high ground having some difficulty. It looks like a lot of this infrastructure just getting peeled away. One gateway down. 2 gateway look like they're going to be depleted definitively. The Mothership running up, just going to absorb a lot of damage and provide some cloak. Health dropping rapidly. Oh, another Vortex, which is going to allow these Stalkers to run in position, also very wisely diving in that Overseer this time to provide some of that additional, that cloaking scouting once it comes out. Some Overlords getting attacked, though, as they come through. And a nice little bunching, though, just perfect for the Colossi. Oh my goodness, and it looks like that got cleaned up very nicely. Looks like actually mined out at his main, and somehow Kiwikaki defends. Looks like he's going to pick off some additional Overseers as well. Middling attack here at the main. Looks like to follow it up was able to take out, in fact I'm going to rewind to show you that attack. So while that was happening all simultaneously, 2 times 4. So we can see what was going on. So here's that attack there. All the craziness, explosions, 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 and TLO gathering up another attack force, which is going to attack the main. It looks like there's plenty of cannons to help defend, though. Here we go. So Roaches moving up, Hydralisks there behind. Yeah, it's just not large enough attack force, particularly with the 3 Colossi coming to support it. So it looks like TLO is going to back off, back to normal speed. TLO calling the WTF. What am I seeing here? Kiwikaki with the surprise face. TLO calling, how does that even work? Which is a good question. So we have burrowed Roaches. Mothership good, Kiwikaki calls, and that is true. I don't see an observer anywhere out in the field to deal with these burrowed Roaches, so it is possible for TLO to do something here with this attack, although, wow, large army moving in, Stalkers, Colossi, everything. TLO, seeing that big army, realizes the Tunneling Claw is probably not going to save him. GG's immediately. Well played by Kiwikaki. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening again. Check it out on Twitter. Join the, I think if you go to Steam groups and look for SC2LS, that's the live stream group, you'll get notifications in Steam when I'm live streaming. And otherwise, yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Hope you stay patient with me as I'm releasing all this, a ton of material.